I can run sound this way, so sorry about that. No sound coming through, but there is now. So, yeah, it was weird because earlier my for some reason the Zoom didn't hook up. But welcome uh, to Natural Farming Pure KNF Office Hour Live. Welcome from all over the world and everything. So let's see, get started here. And today is corners of the mouth, providing nourishment. And it says, give proper nourishment to yourself and others. The image of this hexagram is that of an open mouth. It comes to remind us that nourishment of our bodies and spirits is important and merits our conscientious attention. The I Ching teaches us that if we wish to gauge someone's character, we should notice what he nourishes in himself and in others. Those who cultivate inferior behaviors and relationships are inferior people. Those who cultivate superior qualities in themselves and others are superior people. This is a test that we should apply to ourselves as well as others. What you put in your body is obviously important because it determines your fundamental physical well-being. It is wise to be moderate and thoughtful about the food you eat, and what you put in your mind is even more significant. And regulating that is a more subtle art. This hexagram gives us 3-part advice on that subject. The first counsel is that we should not feed our minds on desire. When we forego our equanimity and begin to desire something or someone, a host of other inferior influences come into play. We become ambitious about obtaining the object of our desire. We become fearful that we will not. If we do achieve it, our ego is gratified and strengthened and soon issues another demand for us to meet. A self-reinforcing cycle of negativity is thus created, and therefore it is wise to hold yourself free from desire. The second counsel is that we begin and continue in a regular practice of meditation. Sitting quietly with your eyes closed for even as little as 15 minutes a day begins to clear the waste out of our hearts and minds, making room for the nourishment of peace and wisdom to enter. To sit in meditation is to tune your ear to the voice of the sage, and it is the most powerful way of gaining his assistance. The final counsel is that we observe tranquility in speech, thoughts, and actions. By cultivating calm, equanimity in all you say, think, and do, you nourish your superior self and those around you. One who follows these 3 counsels now will meet with good fortune. So yeah, I want to welcome you guys here. That knowledge for us, nourishing each other, the corners of the mouth. This is pretty nourishing for me to see people tuning in. From Aaron from Indiana. Someone here. I saw we got Missouri in the house. Yeah. So yeah. And folks from all over. So, yeah. So it's nice to see you from Panama. What's up? Yeah, Evelyn in Missouri. And Solar Gourmet up in Germany. Yeah, it's great. And Julia in Finland, France. What's up? Yeah, cool. It's good to see this community, and I hope you're able to nourish, yourself with your natural farming, but then also as you start to do that, that you're able to nourish the folks around you because it's a global movement. Right now more than any other time, folks need this. Valencia, Spain, Valencia. Maybe that's where those Valencia oranges come from. Those are delicious. Um, but yeah, it's important that we nourish, as we grow this worldwide community and we grow this up. It's important to, reinforce each other, help each other out, and, you know, spread this to that area so people can see and lead through your example. Follow those advice. Um, and so I wanted to, start off here today. Evelyn had a question about, you know, um, sh- she was worried about the LAB that had gone, worried her LAB had gone bad, and she's just getting started. I don't know all the stages yet. So, it's a good Korean natural farming question to ask here. And I, I just did a livestock course this past week, taught at Hawaiian Sanctuary. I did my second. I did, these past 2 weeks I've been teaching there, and one of the main recipes I gave them was the lactobacillus, the KNF protectors for, you know, so that way you can do a lot with livestock, and it's really one of those, more important solutions. So I'm gonna go into the book here, which, book's available at knfsupport.com. You can click on it, get the ebook, download it. But I'm gonna show you here what we call the KNF protectors, and these are what you need. Let's see. I'm pull this up, transition this over. Okay. Yeah, audio cut out again when I switched this other thing because I had muted all these other mics because I was coming through my other audio interface. Thanks for that. Thank you guys. Yeah, so as soon as I transitioned over to this screen, it cut out. But hopefully I fixed that problem here now. Um, but let me know. Thanks for that. I'm glad I got this going in real time with you guys. But the basic idea is here that, these are the lactic acid bacterias, and you're catching them out of the air. So step one is to, collect. You're collecting a starch media. So so it can be um, oh, it's a quiet. All right, dang, I gotta put on my filters. Hang on one sec. I can put on my compressor here. And I should probably put on a limiter because that'll blow it out. Okay, sorry about this. My audio interface just died. So let me bring this up. Let me do a 5-to-1 compression. Hang on. Sorry to do this in real time, but and then let me bring this up so that I'm actually gonna be coming down. I'm talking right about 40. And then let me boost it so that I'm coming up to you with the right volumes here. Yes, coming up. And then let me put the limiter down to there. So now I'm coming at you regular volume up. Sorry to do this live and working on this, but if you're ever curious about what I'm doing, I'm using Open Broadcast Studio, And then, this whole interface setup, maybe one time could go through and show you how I do this, because it's pretty fun to do. So collecting the rice wash water, you're just getting a starch to collect bacteria out of the air. And so this can take, a couple days here in Hawaii. I've done it as short as like 12 hours of collection, but it's better to do it about 2 to 3 days. And this rice wash water, you want to go until you're getting like having it be on the surface, any type of mold. The smell will also change from that sweet to more of a sour. So in this stage, can you wait too long? The answer is yes, you can wait too long. And that's where like if you're getting gnarly molds growing on the top here, where it's and it starts to rot, you can wait too long. So as soon as you see something blooming on the top, take it from this stage and pour it, and try to avoid this sediment on the bottom as you're pouring it into your milk. And add this, 1 part of this to 10 parts of your milk. At this stage, step 2, where you've poured in your initial inoculum into your milk, you can get it to separate like this. If it doesn't fully separate, it means that you had some contamination. But at this stage, you can actually leave it for a while, because what happens is, like you want to optimally pour it off once it's separated from curds and whey. But you can leave this for quite a while, because the curds form a cork, and they kind of trap all the air, and you will have rot and like different microbes like start to develop on the top of your cheese curd within 4 to 5 days for me at these temperatures. But even it can take about 14 days. And if you don't care about this cheese, this amazing cheese to eat, you can let this sit there for a long time, because this cork protects your lactic acid bacteria underneath. And so it's best to pour it off kind of as soon as it's separated. But I've left this for several weeks. In fact, I had some milk that I got from a food distributor company, and I couldn't deal with it all, so I left it. And the lacto, it naturally separated, and then this cork on the top, I left it for weeks, and it's still great lactobacillus. That's what I was using to pour onto my the fish waste that I was putting out. And so this lactobacillus can be a good thing there. So for this to go bad, if you don't have a great separation and you don't have a nice cork, you could go bad earlier. And then once you've poured it off and now you've gotten rid of this airtight layer here, and one thing that's kind of dangerous is if you do have it airtight and sealed, it'll expand and it'll blow up your container. So do be careful there of sealing it very tight. Like the milk jugs I had in all ruptured and burst. So do be careful on that. But then once you've gotten rid of this cork, then to mix it with sugar, and that's really what'll keep it well. And this sugar just shows equal parts sugar, and then this needs to be stirred in really well here. But once you've mixed it in with the sugar on step 3, you really want to, it'll store well. And the main thing is to keep the temperature from fluctuating a whole lot. So if you can put it in a cooler, even if it's not cold, just to keep the temperature like insulated so it's not going up and down each day, then this stuff will last a long time because the sugar will stay in solution and it'll preserve your lactobacillus for quite some time. So that's the whole key on these things and the stages. And this stage here should be kind of sweet till it's starting to turn like sourdough. This stage here, it should smell like yogurt water. And it shouldn't, if it ever smells like rotten eggs or vomit, or it's no good. And then sometimes in this storage stage here, when you're storing it, when you first open the container, if you've put an airtight lid after you've preserved it, it can smell like acetone, like that nail polish remover, like a really strong alcohol smell. And that's just on the top surface of these gases coming up. But let it air out a bit, and that smell will go away. So sometimes you can think, oh no, my lactobacillus went bad because it has this acetone type, like nail polish remover type of smell, but it's just in the gas above that's collected. So be wary of that, and don't let it think that this went bad, because it's usually not. So those are the stages of like going through. So if you don't smell any of those things and you think that it's no good, then it should be fine for you. So so hopefully that helps you, Evelyn, get your lactobacillus together. And it's one of the best things to start with to do. It's so useful, and getting this out around the world globally. I was saying last week that I was looking for some probiotics. I was actually looking for bacillus subtilis, and I couldn't. So I went to a few stores, and I looked at their probiotics, and their probiotics were pretty much just lactobacillus and different families of lactobacillus. And so that's what like they are. And so hang on, I'm typing something in here. But that's what those so any commercial probiotics you're getting in a store are those probiotics. So, but particularly what I was looking for is this here, because my mom had turned me on to this, and I'm thinking about getting this guy's thing here. So let me show you. This is backyardprobiotics.com, and this dude has an interesting story here of what he's doing to make probiotics for himself. And he makes this little bubbler elixir tank where, let me see if I play this. I don't think the sound will come through for you guys, because I don't even hear it, and the sound's a little messed up today. But I want to just show you. I'm going to kind of skip through his little story here, but show you. He built this little this bubbling tank. So he puts his little inoculant in the back, which looks like a little tea bag, and he's basically culturing bacillus subtilis, which is one of the main microbes in IMO, your seed IMO collection. Like when you get that white nice mycelia on top of your rice in your basket, that's bacillus subtilis. So he's culturing bacillus subtilis and bacillus lichenformis, and one other protozoan, which I'll show after this. But he's building this little system where he has a tiny little air pump, not very big, and that air pump goes in through the top, and then that's the air out vent, and it bubbles, and he has this little inoculum. And then he's also feeding it kelp meal, alfalfa, and brewer's yeast, or not brewer's yeast. What is it? I call it hippie cheese. It's I don't know, the yeast, the cheesy yeast stuff you get at the bulk food stores. And he has this little brewer, and he sets it up so it sits on this thing, and he brews up these batches, and he can take his little cup here and fill himself up a cup. I don't know why he's using paper cups, but it seems like he's in his house and he could use a regular cup, but maybe he's just showing how he does it at the market. But you see this little thing bubbling here and doing its thing, and he brews it, and then and so he talks about his inoculum, he talks about the things he's putting in there. But his story is basically that he had this thing, he was doing some commercial things, trying to clean things out, and he ended up spilling it, and it went up his nose, and it cured all these problems that he had. And so he ends up, nutritional yeast. Yes, that's what it's called. Thank you. Because, brain fart on live here. But so he puts all those things in there, and look at his nice kitchen, man. This guy is a baller. And he's up in Washington, so if you're in that area, check him out. He gives out his phone number and everything for what he's doing. But I was just thinking of eating this stuff as a probiotic. I could do it with my IMO, but it seems like, if you're he has this product that's like specific solid microbes, and sometimes it's a little gnarly to eat the IMO. Um, so yeah, so let me transition back to this page. So he's so let's see if I can make it bigger. So he's using, let me see, make it a little bit bigger. Okay, so he's using their bacillus strains, and they inhibit the pathogens like E. coli, Salmonella, Streptococcus, Yersinia. But the ones he's using are Bacillus subtilis, which is found in the IMO, and then he's doing Bacillus lichenformis, and he says that these have been shown to improve symptoms related to a variety of conditions like rotavirus diarrhea, antibiotic-associated dysbiosis, IBS, intestinal pain, high cholera, canker sores, dental caries, vaginitis, and pain and disability related to rheumatoid arthritis. So a lot of these microbes are in the IMO, but I was just thinking of checking out his system to do this and building this type of similar thing to get what I wanted. Because I think, I used to drink my IMO tea, but then I got some gnarly parasites from the Philippines, and I'm not exactly sure how all that happened. So I'm more apt to try a commercial product where it's known what's in there versus going with the IMOs, which I'm not afraid of the IMOs or anything, but I just think, I don't know. Now I used to be a wild man. I used to just eat like the pig pen floor and things, and I just think that more lab grown strains that are a little bit more tested are better. But he's talking about curing GI infections and decreasing respiratory things, and all these things are also lactobacillus, and the IMOs do these same things. And let's see, there was a Pseudomonas. He was using some sort of let's see, I'm trying to find it like live here, but he was using one other thing here. He had one other microbe. There's 3 basic microbes in there that he was doing, and but you can check out his site. He's here. He's selling these things. He talks about how it gets rid of anxiety and depression, cures Alzheimer's, and all these things are true pretty much about the IMOs as well. It's just that these are like very specific strains that he's putting in. Whereas, and he talks about the endophyte plant relationships and how these things are working. So it's just another, tool to understand of how all these things fit in and how they can be great for, yourself as well as the plants, and how all these things work. So, yeah, and by bacteria is destroying mycotoxins. Sure, like these commercial strains, like if you read through his stuff here, and again, it's backyardprobiotics.com. And if you buy it from him, let him know it was, you heard it from me type thing. He's a cool dude. My mom just ordered something from him for my sister in Colorado. And he messaged her to say, oh, I used to live in Hawaii out in, Papaikou area where we're from. I'm not sure he lived in Papaikou, but he lived on the Big Island, and he reached out to my mom. So he's a super nice guy, and I think his name is Jim, pretty sure. I don't know, I'm too zoomed in now. Oh yeah, Jim McElvaney, and this dude, he's pretty darn cool, and making his thing, and he's just trying to help the world and make these small little kits and sell the inoculums to you. And so you guys know how to kind of make your own thing, but if you want specific strains, and I was thinking of checking this out, and I really thought, I was going to build this elaborate like system to make brew my microbes. But his little system here with just this little bubbler and this little tap on it, and just setting up this container looks cheap and easy, and little fish bubbler with an air stone. So that's what I was thinking of, getting something like this and investing in that as well. Make things easy. So um, so yeah, so I think coming through, and then Solar Gourmet. I mean, I'm going a ways back in the chat here, but Solar Gourmet was asking, can I use water kefir instead of lactobacillus? And sure, you can. I think water kefir are a type of lacto. I'm not exactly sure. I should research water kefir. Um, and just see before I talk about this. But the thing is, I think water kefir is going to be a little bit more narrow of a strain of what it is. I used to grow this. I know it's a great probiotic for you. Um, I'm not exactly sure if someone knows better than I do. Um, it looks like they're just trying to sell grains here. What is water kefir? Um, it looks like um, makes carbonated beverages. It doesn't say what kind of microbe it is, though. Um, just says it was combined with water kefir grains, but those things are probably a certain type of um, thing. Let's see. Does it say what microbe it is? What are water kefir grains? No, again, it doesn't even say what they are. No. Yeah, no, they don't even say what it is, but I'm not exactly sure. So, water kefir is a probiotic. I think when lactobacillus has its own niche, I don't think they're compatible by just looking at this. Um, and yeah, so going through protectors done. Okay, cool. Um, yeah, hey Tyler, hey, good to see you, man. Thanks, yeah, thanks for coming out last year. It's been a wild time since then, I tell you. Um, Yeah, yeah, it's good. I'm glad you guys, if you guys want to come out and visit, we hooked up Tyler with did an exchange with him. But again, if you do want to visit the farm, we do have, Airbnbs here. Check out these beautiful places. Like, look at all these photos. And, you can stay here, which I think is where Tyler guys stayed. And, here's, beautiful little house and our farm, which now there's way more plantings all around here and everything. Oh, look at us. We're so amazing. Um, and actually, I think Tyler took this photo. I'm sure he did, actually. So thanks for that and all that. And I'm pretty sure most of these photos, this one was from my mom, but I'm pretty sure he took most of these photos that are these sweet ones here, either him or my Uncle Ralph. And putting these beautiful photos up of come out and stay. You can look it up. It's look up Three Rivers Farm in Gila, Hawaii, United States, and you can come out and stay with us. We do that, and got some folks staying here right now from France, and we have three different cottages, so they're pretty much all the same. Like, here's the hibiscus, the iris, and the jasmine. And one of them has a king bed in it. The rest have queens. But they're all very nice. You get a hammock. Look at this view. I mean, you get to look out and see my beautiful bananas. And then we're just putting a garden. We're redoing this garden right here. And then my greenhouse is just right here. Been doing that up lately. And, look at this peaceful ocean view, and it's just, it's nice. So anyway, if you do want to do that, check it out. The Airbnb, man, keeps my farm solvent and keeps me able to, I farm, but it's really hard to make a living farming here in Hawaii without some other type of thing. So, if you do come out and support the farm that way, that's great. Okay. Yeah, and not to stir. Okay, so coming down, looking at these questions here. Um, I like Thomas Eyewitness is saying putting the KNF protectors, the lactobacillus, in fruit smoothies is good. The glucose helps them get into your gut, and that's totally true. And getting those probiotics deep in where they need to be, mixing the lacto into things you're already eating, drinking it with while you're eating other foods, making all these things. That's great. Um, yeah, and brushing up on the lab. Okay. Um, yeah, so so you guys are talking about these probiotics, and it's totally true. Most of the probiotics we get from milk are lactobacillus though, and this guy is selling these specific bacillus subtilis and bacillus lichenformis, which are from the soil, which are actually closer to um, the soil microbes and the seed IMO. So, the same. I'm not saying it's the same process, but something like this where you're gonna collect microbes from the soil, which when I think about it, Master Cho never really advised um, that we eat the IMO. So, but this same process where you have these nice white mycelial blooming, these are bacillus subtilis primarily, and I'm sure there's bacillus lichenformis. There's also a ton of other different microbes in there. So following this process of gathering the seed IMO, collecting it, putting it out there, and having your hard cooked white rice sit in there, and then culturing this. I mean, you could. It's just his stuff is like specific lab grown things, which means it's weaker in some senses, but also means it's purer in other senses. So you kind of got to weigh that if you're going to ingest it in your body. Knowing what's there. I always believe it's usually the 80-20 rule that I was talking about good microbes taking over in a majority. Um, but you gotta do what's careful for you. So thinking about those things. Um, yeah, making your own bokashi, great, you guys. Yeah, and breaking open a probiotic capsule, but a probiotics you're mostly getting lactobacillus if you read it, the strains. I was looking at this on Amazon the other day. I was looking at let me just not that I want to promote Amazon or anything, but bacillus subtilis, and I was thinking of getting some of this here, so because I just want to get more bacillus subtilis into myself, and thinking of just certain health issues that I have and those things, and it looks like the reviews on this one are pretty darn good, and buying specific bacillus subtilis, even though I can make my own and get it, I just think that I want to try these, culture them out, and get them to go as well as what I'm doing, And if you look at this, it's pure bacillus subtilis, and it's lab grown, meaning that when you look at these things and they're lab grown, like if you look here in the reviews, or some of these, they say that it'll talk about which exact strain it is. And so this is like a lab grown known strain where I think he's talking about diatomaceous earth in this one. Or no, I think maybe it's it's this DE111 capsule. And I think that those are a specific strain. So like when they're talking in there's reviews about DE111 TM Bacillus subtilis, these are specific probiotic strains. So let me see if I can make that bigger for you. But he's looking at these strains. So it's interesting when you get into probiotics. Like if I got the IMO, I'm gonna get all these different ones. But if I get this specific probiotic, I'm gonna get that specific strain. So So, um, so growing those out, you get those different things. Um, and Fish is saying, I know this is off topic, but how is Master Cho doing? The last update I got about Master Cho was about 4 months ago. And he basically has retired from teaching. And I'm not sure. I think he may be in like an assisted living situation right now. I need to follow up with that. I'm gonna meet up with Dr. Park, who's my main connection to Master Cho right now because they both speak Korean. They're good friends. They're around the same age. Dr. Park's a little bit more younger by about 3-4 years. Um, but Dr. Park is coming over here to this farm. He lives on the Big Island, and he's coming over in September. I mean, I could just call him and reach out and see, but his last update he gave to me was that Master Cho is he's doing okay. He's not in like super great shape, but he's doing pretty good, and he's in an assisted living thing, and he's not really teaching at all right now. Um, so it's kind of a bummer on that sense, but he's also quite elderly and doing his thing. So I you know I'll have an update pretty soon when I talk to Dr. Park, or I'm sure I'll call him before he comes over in September. But main thing. I mean, last time I saw Master Cho in person was February 2020, or yeah, was it? Yeah, I think it was right before all the crazy stuff happened. They were in Hawaii February 2020, and I saw Master Cho, and just great talking story with him. Met with the whole family, Young Song, Sun Young, Master Cho, his wives, their wives, and the whole three generations of Chos, and it was a great time. It was like being with old friends and just talking story and hanging out, and yeah, Master Cho just told me, stay true, keep your integrity, do um, stay balanced, stay true to this here, and you know continue to do what you're doing, continue to teach, continue to make it happen. So it's been a while since I've seen him in person. Just with it's hard to get to Korea. So oh man, looks like the chat just updated for me, and you guys have been talking a bunch here, but it's good to see you guys talking with each other here and getting this together. So um yeah, and Smoky Floyd, this is an awesome comment. They're saying that the KNF protectors and the KNF medicine have helped their stomach, and now they don't have to worry about what they eat. And that's the thing, man. Taking these probiotics, getting it going, healing your guts, starting from that space. That's the magic, And so getting these things, um, yeah, I mean, it depends how damaged you are when you started too, but recovering, getting these diets, looking into the GAPS diet, it's a really good thing. My wife's really researching that right now, um, and getting into that. So, um, yeah, interesting on stirring the lactobacillus and it foaming when you excite it, it'll go. But if also it's foaming a whole bunch, you might want to throw a little bit more sugar in there with the lactobacillus. If you stirred it and it foams over, just the sugar does drop out of solution, and then they will have moisture available, water, and they'll start to reproduce. So you do want to be careful. Um, and I do consume fresh raw dairy. I do, and so it's good. Yeah. I think I try not to drink commercial milk myself. I do on occasion, but um, where's Missoula? Hey Ali. Yeah, it's good to see everyone tuning in from all over. It's good that spread this stuff. Like bring these recipes. Get the folks around you doing this. And Kadag is saying I'm starting a half-acre farm on the Big Island south side in Ka'u. The land there is currently overrun with Christmas berry. We have the option to remove it entirely or mulch it. Um, I'd recommend you remove it slowly and plant behind it, not just to remove it all at once as you chip it. And then also, I just want to show you here. Let's see, I'm going to go to my YouTube channel, and then I'll show you one guy. His name's Richard Perea. He used to live out in Kau area. And let's see if I can find it here quickly for you guys. Let's see. Let's see. So, yeah. So on my YouTube channel, I'll switch over to this. If you scroll down here and you go down to the natural, so you're going to knfvideo.com to get to this, or click on the thing below if you're already on the channel below. But here, this 2015 Natural Farming Symposium, if you go to this playlist, and then over here on the right, it brings up a playlist for you. So you can just watch them all the way through if you wanted to. But I'm going to show you this where they're talking about the fermented plant juice here, which again, I don't think you can hear it. And this may be, I'm going to skip through a little bit to see. This is actually Kim talking about it. And so this isn't necessarily the best one to see because what I was talking about is Richard talking about it. And when Kim's doing it, she's just showing an example. But let me see here. I know one of these, it was when we were outside doing this. Biome rejuvenation juice. So this is Richard Perea here, and he was talking about, he has a bunch of Agent Orange poisoning because he was part of the the military oppression of Vietnam, or suppress. I don't know how it went. Whatever. I don't want to make judgments on it, but he fought for America down in Vietnam and was exposed to a lot of Agent Orange and these different toxins. And he's talking about this. So if you look up this one, I'll leave it. Maybe I'll link it in the description below. But it, if you know where that's from, shout that out. But he's talking about how the Christmas berry juice rejuvenated him and how he drinks it and how that was just an amazing resource. So if you're in Kau and as opposed to thinking of it as a problem, thinking of it as something you can turn into, making the juice out of it like he did, and in its, because it's toxic itself, through fermentation will actually cure it. And then he's been drinking this to like cure like arthritis and all kinds of things. So do check out this Biome Rejuvenation Juice 2015 Symposium. It's on my channel here, and only 391 views on this, which maybe it's titled poorly, maybe I didn't promote it enough or whatever. Only 4 likes on it. I mean, it's amazing information like this, can go unnoticed out on YouTube. And I have all these hours and hours of stuff that's just great. And the few, great people that go and check these things out, it's like, how do you, it's like a needle in a haystack. How do I get this great information out to people and title it right? Maybe I don't make catchy enough thumbnails. I don't know. I just, it amazes me. But I also think that folks like you guys tuning in, you're into something, it, and you're like a quantum level ahead of your peers, quantum level ahead of everyone else that's around, that's still in the problems, and you guys are into the solutions. And so I don't know exactly how to promote this information to get it out, to be like, this is what you need, what's the solutions you're looking for are right here, understanding these stories, understanding this testimony, understanding how it's worked for people. You guys are tuned in, right? You're here. You're nourishing yourselves. You're putting this good stuff into your mind, especially if you're showing up each week. It's like this good thoughts, not to say that I'm like, I ran on all kinds of crazy stuff too, and not to say everything I'm saying here, but these concepts of Korean natural farming, this spreading it and then putting the good food in your mouth, understanding these things, putting these good concepts in your head, and then sitting with meditation, being quiet, trusting the process, trusting God, trusting that we're all, somehow it's going to work out. I don't know. I mean, last week's episode was all like, Chicken Little, the sky is falling. And it's like, it sort of is, but at the same time, you have the knowledge to recover, to know, to do, to spread, to grow, to thrive. Whether it's inflation or fuel or any of these problems, you now have solutions. And like I was just talking about backyard probiotics, but now you know how to make it at your own yard, in your own house, in your own things. So these are the things you need to know. So yeah, so kefir is a lab. Okay, cool. And so finding those things, it depends. There's a lot of different kefirs. Okay. So you guys are, I mean, I'm way back on the chat, and so someone said that the water kefir was lactobacillus and these other things. So that sounds good. I mean, I don't, yeah, you use those things. That's good. I think they're just maybe a more narrow family. I have no idea. So looking here, you guys are back. Sorry, I scrolled back on the chat. I'm like behind, and it's like you're real time talking, but I'm back because I end up talking about stuff for quite a while on these things. And then there's a question here on what's the difference. Evelyn's asking what's the difference between fish amino acids and fish hydrolysates. Typically, a fish hydrolysate has been processed and the oils have come off, and it also may have been heated. And when you heat it, you denature proteins, and then the aminos don't, it's just like cooking an egg. It's not the same as a raw egg. And typically, fish hydrolysate, they're extracting certain things, they're pulling things out. It's more of a byproduct versus fish amino acid, the KNF fuel. You're taking the fish, you're mixing with the sugar, you're using the microbes to slowly ferment and disassemble the aminos, and you're getting these much more rich, powerful aminos out of there. So it's a very vast, superior product to go through the KNF fuel process of just layering sugar, fish, capping that bucket, leaving it for 3 to 6 months, and then pouring off that liquid. It's amazing. So, talking about the fish amino, those difference, and it's in the fish amino acid too, the KNF fuel, the recipe, I don't add lacto, or I don't add IMO to my fuel. I don't, and it's unnecessary. And I know some folks talk about how adding IMO to this, but just putting a rock on top, and having it go underneath and keeping it submerged, there's no need for the IMO. If you do add the IMO, it can break down some of your oils and things. So there's no need to do that. So here's the, fish aminos in there and doing their thing. No need for that. So anyway, super easy recipe. It's one of the easiest things to do. And let's see here. You don't need IMO for the fuel. It's unnecessary. It really is. You don't need it at all. So is there anything KNF that you've applied to cover crops? I've been learning about them, and I think they will be my preferred approach to turning plots of grass into plantable soil if I have time. Just following the main KNF solutions, like doing soil prep foundation where you're putting down the IMO and watering it with maintenance solutions so you bring your soil to life. Throwing some biochar down that's inoculated if you can. But there's nothing specific for to cover crops. Any crop you're growing, to understand your nutritional cycle. The one thing I would say is if like you're gonna mow your cover crop or crimp it or kill it right before, is to give it a good leaf solution right before. So if you look at the the formulations here and giving it where right before you knock it down and right before you cut it, give it a leaf solution so that you'll fill it with this extra bit of nutrients here. So that's food, cleanser, medicine, structure, fuel, and protectors right before you cut it down, just so that you give that to the plants, then you cut them, they'll have this extra, juice to make it go, and then they'll decompose faster. And then right after if you cut your cover crop, or you do it, then do another soil foundation where you drop more IMO as it's breaking down, and do a soil formula on top of that to make sure that you're getting all those things in. So, but pretty simple. I mean, natural farming, the application of it's pretty darn basic, of just following these formulations to do it. And there is some difference between some crops, but really, main thing is getting good soil, getting right nutrition, right time, right amount, right. So, but that's tuned in and learning. And if you're doing that with any crop, it's like there's no difference between a cover crop and your other crops, really. Besides, different crops are different, but sorry for that hand waving. Like, there's no difference, but there's a lot of difference, because you gotta tune in and get there. So, and the living soil, Cavbar is saying he loves the cheap, disgustingly cheap microbes. It's the best. Yeah, keep the living soil going that way. And yeah, it looks like it popped down on me here, but it's good. We're in the same area here. Let's see. Yeah, using all these things. It's weird. It doesn't refresh my chat until it does, and then it's like pops me way down. Yeah, and natto is bacillus subtilis. Man, there's a whole bunch of stuff that I was like way up here, and then it popped, and then, but it's good. It's good. I'll just scroll down to where we're at, and I'm glad you guys are doing these things and talking about these things. What's up, Canada? So made WCA, poured vinegar and slowly left the room. The bubbling is that too crazy with the eggshells. There's potent egg. Yeah, add the vinegar more slowly. And add half. I add half the vinegar in, then I wait, then I add the other half in, because otherwise it'll bubble over. Yeah, the chicken classes are awesome. I'm glad someone's checking out the YouTube and getting into that. And yeah, the best way to get other people in is to do it yourself. Yeah, natto is great. Yeah, new title, Christmas berries saved my life. Yeah, and I probably also got to cut it down and make it better. But yeah, I need, like, you won't believe this. It's shocking evidence. 5 tips. Like all the clickbait things. It's just, I don't know. I'm not into like overstimulating people. If you want to find it, it's like you got to find good things. It's like, you know. But anyway, yeah. I guess if I want to increase the viewership, I probably should say Christmas berries saved my life. Um, you know. Can you explain a bit about your feelings on the ultra cheap microbe, or disgustingly cheap KNF? I was watching one of your videos, in your comments mentioning you should be cautious of Jadam. I was curious why. It's because they're using putrefaction instead of fermentation, and Young-Sang Cho doesn't necessarily understand the biological aspect. He's more of a chemist, and some of the biology he's growing is extremely pathogenic. So that's why you have to dilute it a lot, and you have to be much more careful. Don't ingest these things. Be careful when you're spraying it if you get in your eyes. Versus Master Cho's Korean natural farming solutions are all edible. They add to your health in every way. So that's why I always err on caution with Young-Sang Cho's Jadam methods. So yeah, so anyway, going down here and getting into this. So we got a few minutes left, and I wanted to end this. I got a couple things. One is I'm gonna be uploading a class that I just taught at Hawaiian Sanctuary to my YouTube over this week, and it'll be good because I haven't added too much to my channel lately. And it talks about sea salt in that one a lot. So check out, I know Smokey Floyd's asking a question here. but that's basically the tips I gave them. My tips for KNF that I taught this past, 2 weeks ago was that, what do we do in like a de-energized, inflationary, harder to get supply chain breakdown situation? And I really talked to the folks about it on KNF on that level. And it's kind of a beginner class for these folks, but it's really like the fundamentals of KNF and real practical solutions of how I'm doing it and what's working, because it's hard to find brown sugar if you're in if supply chains are breaking down. And for me, I'm trying to make my own sugar here, but it's a very laborious, energy intensive process and all these things. And you can't use KNF for honey and molasses. Yeah, it's too much of an issue. If you are thinking about using molasses and those things, do check out on my channel this video here where it talks about sugar or molasses. It's right here behind my picture, but it's right up at the top, featured videos, sugar versus molasses, and do check that video out and understand that. 19,000 people have already done that one, which maybe it's because I put a nice title on it. Yeah. So anyway, I wanted to kind of finish out because maybe I'll get a little bit more. Yeah, natto beans. We do make natto. And Suze has been making her own natto from Bacillus subtilis, my wife, and it's great stuff. And I want to do those and eat it, and that's great. Thanks for that tip, Evelyn. It's a great thing. So, just want to hook all that up. Okay, so I do want to, encourage you guys to send in videos, send in things, and I just wanted, I don't know if I shared this video already. I don't think so, but this video here, I'm going to share it to you anyway, and I know there's no sound, but that's okay, because sometimes YouTube copyrights on the sounds, but I want to just share this as you guys go, because Julia sent this in to me, and it's her making KNF Food, the fermented plant juice. And so I encourage you to send videos, send things in. I can share them with everybody. And here we go. So she's using this flour here. And I'm just going to be quiet for this little bit here. We can watch what she got. And let's see, I'll full screen it. Well, maybe I won't because it won't show. But oh, cool. Beekeeping friend to give to his bees. What could be better? So nice. Yeah. And you're mentioning animal feeds. Next week, I'll have a video on animal feeds because I just taught that this last week. So I'll upload that. Yeah, self-seeded. Look at that. Oh, awesome. Those look spiny. Maybe they're not. Gathering all the flowers. Wow. Wow, look how many flowers there are. That makes it easy. Wow. Yeah, don't wash off those microbes. Adding the sugar to it. Mm-hmm. Eating a banana while this happens. Oh, that's awesome, Julia. That's cool. Awesome. Cool. And my tip is with that sugar, if you put it in a blender a little bit, it'll make the granulars smaller and it'll stick to it a little bit better. But that's totally cool. Yeah. And yeah, the liquid will start to come out. Awesome. Oh yeah. The bees love it. Oh, cool. Yeah, she's saying she's going to make vinegar from the leftovers from it. Cool. Cool. So, yeah, so that process, making the fermented plant juice from the flowers, then giving it back to the beekeeping friend. If you look on my channel, again, not to like promote too much of the channel, but if you do go to my channel here and then you search this little search thing here, you click on that and you search bees. Let's see, KNF microbes, bees and microbes. Yeah, I gotta sneeze. Oh, wow. But this is, looks like is it a playlist? No, it's just it's one of them. But he's showing, my buddy Shane is showing how, working with his bees, that he's putting these. Let's see, where is it at? I don't know if he shows it somewhere. Where, let's see. I think this is him talking about it, but I think he shows where they take the bag. I don't know. They made a bag of the plant juice and then laid it over the hive. So it's worth checking out this video because I'm pretty sure this is the one where he shows it. Although I'm not exactly sure where he was showing it. But anyway, yeah, those are the bees. Anyway, yeah. So there's all kinds of good stuff out there. So anyway, it's about the top of the hour. I'm glad you guys were able to answer questions in here. Maybe next time we'll try to stay more up on this, but it looks like everyone was talking good and helping each other. And again, remember to nourish yourself well, nourish those around you, good bananas. Keep the faith, eating good, Korean natural farming. Yeah, and don't throw it in a blender. You're right, Luke. So yeah, making jadam. I can use the water. There's a lot of algae in it. Yeah. Yep. All those things, man. Use those things. Jadam is so gross and so amazing that you can just use it. Yeah, marigolds would be a great fermented plant juice to make it from. Make a KNF food from those. Yeah, and heat would denature proteins and yeah. So anyway, want to thank you guys for tuning in. Flat Eric says hi. And again, long live the natural farmer. All thanks to Master Cho up here on the wall. This inspiration, these things, bringing it to you in the English language, but really wouldn't be here without them. Wouldn't be here without the KNF Foundation. Wouldn't be here doing this without you guys tuning in. So continue to nourish yourself. Remember to sit quiet and let the observations nourish you as well, and to continue doing the great things you're doing. Want to appreciate you guys, and tune in next week. Bring your friends, teach somebody. And what's up, Argentina? Glad you guys are out there. Want to just it's grateful. It's good things. So long live the natural farmer. Love you guys. Aloha.